Welcome back to the Late Nate Show. I'm Crazy Nate, and today we are unboxing, reviewing, and talking about the Party Disco Light. You can get it on Amazon. It's not going to be much of an unboxing. One thing though that's kind of cool, it's got a little smiley face on it. But really, it's just a couple blocks of foam and a cool little card, and that's basically all that's inside. Of course, you have the disco ball too. So here we have the disco ball. So with this, it's a USB. I think that's a USB 3, I'm not sure. But if you look, you can see it's actually already bent a little bit. So my only complaint to this that you gotta be careful about, which I don't know if it's necessarily a design flaw, but it's definitely something to be aware of, is when you're setting it on the ground, you have these two adjustable legs, and you're gonna wanna put it at all sorts of different angles. If you have it at the wrong angle, it's gonna end up hitting the ground. And a lot of times you might be trying to get the ceiling like that, and you can see it's putting pressure on it. So maybe, let's just check this out right here, right now. Yeah, I like that. So actually, putting it upside down, because the plug-in is at the near the bottom, and so now when you go up high, you have more clearance. So yeah, I should have done that from the beginning. But yeah, it's got a little microphone right here in the back, and then that's your little server fan that's gonna get really dusty. So every once in a while you want to shoot some canned air in there. But yep, that's your mic. It is sound sensitive. And if you're wanting some sort of cool lighting fixture for your little DJ setup or your bedroom or something, this is about as cheap as you can get for like a moving light thing. So let's go ahead and plug it in and have some fun with it. Also, the USB is a normal USB at the end that plugs into the power jack. So if you have a USB power outlet or something, or one of those battery packs that you would use on a phone, you could actually have this thing be mobile. I'm not sure how long it would last on one of those battery packs. It just the thought I currently had. Anyways, we'll plug it in real quick. And you have mainly three different lights. You have a disco ball, you have a laser, and then you have LED lights, RGB, red, green, blue. So it also comes with a remote control. The remote control is kind of big for it, but here you have three different sound types that you can do where it automatically is going to change. So let's say you don't like the disco ball, for example. You can have it set to where it's just the three RGB colors and the light and the laser without the disco ball. Or if you just want exclusively disco. And this is pretty much an unbranded light fixture. Here's our strobe. You have a strobe effect. Let me turn down some of these lights. I already dimmed them for the video because you're going to want to mostly see what this is able to do. So now, right now, we just have a couple of RGB strip lights inside the movie closet, and we got this little mobile one right here. We're going to use this for a different video, so I'll shut off now so it doesn't distract. You can actually see what you're getting with this thing. So this is the strobe feature. Can you see it okay on the camera? Okay. And then we have a disco feature. And then also you can control the speed, so you can make it less crazy. And then it has auto features, so it can kind of do its own thing. If you don't have a sound system going on, like music, it can still give you a little bit of fun lighting. Something to keep in mind with this room, if you look at the pictures on Amazon, it looks like it's really bright, and you can see these beams going through the room. You're not going to see the beams unless you actually have like a fog machine or something. And then also, it's not as bright as you would think it is. And then even with the fog machine, you're going to see the beams really good right here, but as you get further away, the beams are going to be harder to see. So then we'll throw it on the other auto. So then this auto is pretty much just the lasers, which is kind of cool. And the RGB ones, like this one right here, is a little less intense. These red and green squares are kind of blurry. But if you have a really good fog machine, they have a metal or a plastic one. This one I opted for was the metal one. Is only about $6 more, and usually DJ equipment you're going to get it abused and beat up, so I think it's worth the extra $6 to get a metal case instead of a plastic one. The power USB cable is roughly 9 feet, and then the adapter for plugging into the wall, that is 6 feet. So it does have the 2 cables. I'm not sure where I put the other cable. I'm just using the USB one for now. As of right now, it's on Amazon for $46.97. That's what I paid for it. So I'm going to throw some music on real quick. Oh yeah, so getting back to the wall height thing, the further away you are from the light source, the more spread out it's going to be. That might sound a little obvious, it is. So this is a 9-foot ceiling. Most bedrooms are not going to be a 9-foot ceiling. So you're going to have to wedge this in the furthest corner of your room to try to maximize how much of your ceiling. If you're wanting to throw it up just on your ceiling, like this being on the chair is already making it less of a spot that it covers. But that's a pretty good spot, pretty good size. You can see how far away it's going. And then I have sound shells up on the ceiling, and those are black, so that's naturally going to absorb the light. And then same thing with the light bar up there. A lot of the black things are going to absorb the light. The white ceiling is where you're going to really see the difference. So let me spin it around and throw it back here. And you can see how messy the studio is, but the ceiling is more white. So you can see it's really covering the room pretty well. Even without a fog machine, it's pretty cool. And again, for less than 50 bucks, it's pretty neat what you can do with this thing. But it also can automatically dance to music. So we're going to give you a little bit of music. It's royalty-free music. And then we're going to switch. You have on the remote control, you have sound 1, sound 2, sound 3. And that's just different types of settings it's going to do with your sound system. So this is sound 1. And then we'll spin it around to the less cluttered side. And I just unplugged it. And I'll shut off the movie closet lights right now so you can see a true view of what it's going to look like with just the light thing. Now with the music, you can change your speed so it dances slower. It's less dramatic of how quick it's changing. And then you can also speed it up to where it's obviously going through much quicker. Seizure warning for those with seizure issues. That's something to think about as you speed it up for your audience. You don't want to make it go too fast if that's an issue you got to worry about. It also has a sensitivity control, so you can regulate how sensitive it is towards the music, the bass and stuff. Try to switch it to just laser again. Okay, so now it's on just laser. And this is sound mode 3 with just the laser. And then now we'll put the disco ball in. So now it's the laser and the disco ball, and then hit laser again. Now it should be just the disco ball. So you can actively turn on and off just one of them. So if you want laser and disco, or RGB and laser, you can kind of bounce that around a little bit. And the RGB, that's the little flash you're seeing, that's like a solid color. It's just a mini strobe with a red, a green, and a blue, and it's just going to cycle through those colors. And once the song gets going here, you'll see the laser pick up. It's going to make it more sensitive. So you can see it wasn't really moving very fast. I increased the sensitivity, and now it's bouncing back and forth between the laser and the disco much faster. And then here's the sound 2. So pretty neat for 50 bucks. You're really getting a good deal, I think. But it's not going to be like a moving gobo. But it's a fun little toy to add in. And even in a small room, it's going to work. So we're also going to get a fog machine going, and I'm going to show you what it's going to look like with a fog machine. And in my opinion, it's much better with a fog machine. But with a fog machine, you also make your room foggy, set off your fire alarms, and give yourself a headache. So something to think about. It's a trade-off, but it looks cool. So that's all that matters. Okay. Fog is going to shoot straight up. That's one of the reasons I like it. Some of the cheaper fog machines, it's going to shoot out to the side. If you're using like so that's why you got the cover plate, so you don't accidentally smoke yourself out. Okay, so now we have the room very foggy. I got LED strip lights on the ceiling, and you can kind of see it's a little bit glowy from the top. And if you're looking at me, I am glowy. Look at that, that is like so cool. Anyways, this is not what we're reviewing. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and point that over there for now. Well, that's messy, I'll point it over here. And then we'll get the movie closet lit up again. This is just LED strip lights. But let's get to the matter at hand here, our $48 disco ball. We're gonna go ahead and turn that sucker back on, and then we'll get some music going and see how this thing plays out with the music. Okay, it needs music. Royalty-free music. We're not playing any awesome jams. So you can see the laser really shoots good through the fog, obviously because it's a laser. See if we can get the other stuff shut off and just really hyper focus on the laser here. Trying to isolate it to just the laser, but I'm having some difficulty here with remotes. Okay, well, I'm having difficulties with the remote control, part of being a $50 disco ball. It's got features on it where you should be able to control it to where you can turn on and off the laser, turn on and off the disco ball. Disco ball is this middle piece, and then turn on and off the RGB, which is what this piece is right here. And then over here on the right, you see the green and the red. This is your lasers. So being a low wattage, your lasers are definitely doing the work. Like they're the workforce. And then with high-powered laser equipment for DJing, you gotta be careful about where you're putting the lasers because you don't want to blind people's eye like this. But this is such a low wattage thing that it's really just a mild annoyance. It's like someone hitting you with their high beams. So you don't really have to worry about where this thing's pointing with the lasers. But clearly the lasers are definitely the best feature on this thing. And that's just because it doesn't take as much wattage to push that as it is going to be to push RGB LEDs, which is obviously the only thing that's behind these disco balls and this floodlight right here. Those are probably all both just LEDs. So let's get another song going on here. And you can see with even with the remote, you can see when I click it, there's like a little bit of a beam coming out of the remote LED light. So that's the power of a fog machine. It does work sometimes, like right now the laser's on. I click the laser, well now it's not, it's making me into a liar. But there we go. So it is off from pushing the laser button, and then push it again. And you just gotta keep playing with it, and then eventually it comes on. There we go, so now it's back on. So if it was working properly, but again, keep your price budget in mind. The disco ball, I should be able to click that, and then that's gonna regulate if this is on or not. There, now it's on. So it is kind of working, you just gotta play with the button a bunch of times until you get your result. The RGB floodlight though, that's this one right here, and I can't really get that one to shut off. So that one, you're just committed. But that's what you're seeing as a wash, where the whole thing is turning blue and green. And I'll shut all the other lights off so we only have this light going. Again, I still think it's a pretty good deal for 50 bucks. It's just, don't expect perfection. And then also, even with the lasers, you got a lot of patterns going on here. And we're really barely seeing it hit the wall. So if you look at the pictures on Amazon, it looks very much brighter. Very much brighter, that's a good sentence. It looks very much brighter. It looks more like that. Looks more like that. I'm just covering up the RGB so we can see it better. But it's not really that bright if you got a fog machine. So you can't have both. You can't have the line without a fog machine. But if you have a fog machine, what's hitting your wall is much dimmer because it has to go through all that fog. So something to think about. 50 bucks. I still think it's a pretty good thing. And you got like your DJ bar or something, or your bedroom. This will be fun. You just throw it up at your ceiling and have a little party. That's one of my alarms. And then this is basically everything. This is the disco ball, this is the RGB. I'm trying to feel for my power cable. I don't want to kink it again because I'm trying to point it straight up without damaging it. So that's pretty cool, but you're only gonna get that if you got the fog machine going. So less than 200 bucks, you got the fog machine and you got this. This is pretty cool right here. But you can see how far it goes. Again, 9-foot ceilings. The lasers are the ones that are really coming up. You can kind of see the disco ball with the RGBs coming out. That's the fatter beams. And then the wash that's just making the whole room look like greenish tone. Now it's purplish tone. That's your RGBs. And that's the fire alarm that I have in my server closet. So as I said before, the fog machine does set off your fire alarm. That's something to think about. But overall, this distance, you can see the lasers hit the ceiling a little bit better than when they were hitting the wall, because we're closer to the ceiling than when it was further back. It had to go pretty far to hit the wall. But pretty cool, 50 bucks. I'd say it's worth it. I wouldn't expect it to last very long. And if you live in an apartment, that's something to think about. You're gonna set off the alarms for the entire complex. So anyways, thanks for watching. That's my review. That's my overview. I'm gonna go so I can shut off my fire alarms.